Welcome back to my channel, Custom Scrapbook designed by Christy Stubbs. And we are back with another installment to the Scrappin Saturday Series. And again, this week I am going to be participating in the Sat Morn Makes. So you can check out all of the other designers and creators at hashtag #SatMornMakes and see what they are up to today. And I, once again, am going to be bringing you another 2-page layout. And I am using the Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Life in Bloom again. And I do have a bit of an idea for what I want to do. So I went ahead and grabbed the papers out of inventory. So I've got the Happy Memories sheet, the Make Time sheet, the 2x2 and 4x4 element sheet. I'm going to be using the B side of that. And then I've got the 3x4 element sheet. Again, I'm using the B side of that one. And then last, I have got the Beautiful Things, and I'm going to be using the polka dot. If you remember, we used this one last week, and I'm just going to be using the other side for this week's layout. And then I did grab 2 of the coordinating, and I'm not sure which ones I'm going to use. I'm pretty positive I'm not using these sides, but I haven't decided for sure on this one. We'll wait and see. And then I also grabbed 2 sheets of each, 12x12 black and 12x12 white. And I believe we're going to start with our white as our base. And then I'm going to take and trim down the 12x12. And actually I'm going to use my other trimmer because it is a little easier for the bigger paper, my bigger one. And we're going to trim the paper down to 11 by 11. We're going to start by taking 1 inch off and see if that's going to give us enough of a white border for what I have visualized. So let's start with 1 and take a peek. Yeah, I think that is going to be plenty. I don't think I want to take off any more than that. So let's bring that cutter back in here and trim the next one. And again, we're going 11 by 11 for that. Okay. So we've got our 2 sheets, and that looks good. So the next thing that I want to do is bring in this sheet. I love this sheet. So we're going to go 10.5 height wise. Oh, again, that bigger cutter is going to be better. I don't have to do the math on this one and cut it the opposite way. I can just cut it right at the 10.5. And then I'm wanting to preserve this camera basically, and I like the little bit of like the washi tape looking area there. So I'm gonna save all of that, and to save all of that, that is gonna bring us at 7 inches. Boy, that's gonna take up a lot of it. I think that'll work though for what I have planned. So my goal is to have that piece starting over here. And then, oh, I didn't do it. This one's going to require some math, and I didn't really pre-figure any of this. Once again, I kind of loosely have an idea of what I want to do, but not 100% positive. So I've got 3 3/4 left, and I want to leave a quarter, so I've basically got 3 1/2 left. So I can either do a piece that's 3 1/2, but I want to leave a little bit in between as well. Do we want to leave a 1/4 inch? And if so, then we want to go down to 3 1/4. All right, that's what we're going to do. So I'm basically, what I have envisioned is lining up some strips up and down, going all the way across the page, utilizing the different patterns here. And I think that when we get here, we're going to be all smaller pieces. I just am not positive on that. Let's see which piece would look best next to the camera. Like, this might require a little bit of math. I didn't really give that a whole lot of thought before I started. I maybe should have. So let's see how this piece looks. I think we'll go with that one. And then possibly that one, and that one. And then I think we'll pull this cut off from this one back over here as well. So let's start. The worst we can do is cut it wrong and need to get another piece of paper. So, all right, so that was 11. That was 7. Okay, 11, and we're going to do a 1/4 and a 1/4. So we're down to 10 1/2. Then we're going to take away the 7. We're going to be at 3 1/2. And then we're going to take away the 1/4 in between here. So we want a piece that's 3 1/4 wide. I hope I did my math right. 3 1/4 wide. And our height, again, we want that to match, is going to be 10 1/2. So 10 1/2 for that. Let's see how we did here. I don't know, I almost don't know if I like the 1/4 inch. Space. I feel like that's kind of a big gap, but all right. So let's figure. I've got a little scrap piece of paper here. And we're at 11. And we're going to take off a 1/2 for the 1/4 on each side. So we're going to be 10 1/2. And then if we want to do 4 pieces of paper over here, that's going to give us 3/4. 1, 2, 3 in between. So we're going to take 3/4 from that 10 1/2. 6, 7, 9. 9 3/4. And then we would divide that by 4. Okay, so that's gonna be, we're gonna round that up and go 2 1/2. And then we may end up coming back and recutting this piece to get that distance in between a little bit better. I think that's gonna be the easiest way to do it. So we're gonna cut all of these at 2 1/2. And let's measure the height one more time, because I can tend to get confused if we do a lot of these numbers here. 2 1/2 by 10 1/2 tall. So we're going to go ahead and cut all 4 of these at that. Take a look at it and see if we need to recut this piece to fix the spacing here. So I'm going to start by cutting them all at the 10 1/2 height. And with this cutter, I am able to cut all of them at once. That's a good and a bad thing. If you cut it wrong, you cut all of them wrong. But if you cut them right, works really slick. And so we want these all to be 2 1/2 inches wide, and we've got 12 inches here. So we're gonna go 9 1/2. And if you're gonna cut them all together, you wanna make sure and not mess those up. You wanna make sure those are all lined up perfect. 9 1/2. And we are gonna go for it. Ooh, squeaky. Okay, let's see. Let's see how we did with these. And I forgot I didn't cut that little cutoff piece yet. I want to cut this one at 2 1/2. That looks about right. So let's cut that one at 2 1/2. And I have been having some issues getting stuff straight, so I'm going to stick my ruler on there. 2 1/2 and make sure I am in there straight. All right. Now to see how we did. I actually think that that is going to work out just fine. I know I don't have it set up perfectly, but we will get that. So I think, am I going to need to go back and trim it? It doesn't look like you can tell much difference. I don't know that I'm gonna worry about recutting this one. I think for what little bit it is off, if you do the math, it is off. But I think that I'm okay with that, that I don't think it's necessarily a cause to recut that. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that. Now, what color do we want to bring in with these other colors to have as a matting for our pictures? And our pictures, do we want to mat those on white and have those pop off the page? Let's see if I got a white piece. Here's a little white 4x4. So let's do this. Do we want to have white? Let's see. Let's see what I've got for some black. I do have this for a black. Or do we want to have our pictures come off of that black? I think we're going to come off of the white. Okay, so now the next thing to determine is what size pictures we're going to have. And this one, I'm not sure. I've been doing a lot of layouts that utilize just the 4x6, and I think I want to change it up a little bit. I tend to be a scrapbooker who likes to put a lot of pictures on a page. Now, I really want this camera to kind of be my focal point on this page, on this 2-page spread. For some reason, I am really drawn to that camera. And so I think that in order to do that, I am going to want to carry the pictures up a little higher across the page. And so I did think a little bit about, and I want to use a solid, I want to use a solid color and carry it fully behind the matting rather than individually matting everything. And so I'm thinking possibly, and we could bring this down if we do a 4x6, maybe a 3x5, that will leave some of that solid color there, and maybe we can do a title or something there. And then we continue over with the 4x6 again, and then maybe we do 2 3x5s over here. Okay, I see what the difference is. I'm looking at the spacing between them. That's because we're spacing that, because we're 6 and 6 with those. Unless we put those right together, that's going to be the only way that we make that the same size. But I don't necessarily want to do that. I would prefer to have a little bit of color in between. So the solid piece of paper going across probably is going to need to measure, how much of a border do we want to have? I forgot that my mats are actually cut at a 1/4 of an inch bigger so that you've got 1/8 of an inch all the way around your actual photo. So I believe we are gonna go at 6 3/4. And I should have figured some of this math out ahead of time. I didn't realize I was going to utilize so much math on this layout. 6 3/4. So do we want purple or do we want yellow? And actually, the more I look at it, the more I kind of like this one. Not the one I thought for sure I was not going to use this side of this paper. So we need a piece that is 6 3/4 wide. So that means 5 1/4 is what we're going to cut off. Yep. Mental math. And we better cut the branding strip off. Okay, and then before I trim the length, because we're not going to go the full length, I actually want to cut the photo mats for that. So we were going to do a 4x6 and 2 3x5s, and I'm going to do those in white. And I feel like it's time to start inking and actually start hooking a few of these pieces down. Okay, so we've got the photo mats placed, and now we just need to tack down the patterned paper onto the black, and for that I'm just gonna eyeball again. We're just going to try and frame that top to bottom, side to side. No way. Okay. And then we want to see, all right, let's pull this other one over here. Let's put a little tape on this one. And I'm just going to put little dabs in the corners just to hold it down. And I think we're going to go over the edge of that white, actually. Now I didn't press that down very hard just in case I change my mind. And now we need to trim this end. Oh, I just thought of something else we need to do too before we actually do press that down all the way. We're going to want to ink the edge of that because we cut that off. So we're going to want to do that on both of those before we hook that all the way down. Almost forgot that step. Now since that's got tape on it, I'm going to put it upside down. Okay, let's try that again. And again, I think we'll come all the way to the outer edge of the white. And then I think we'll do that with this one as well. Okay, and this is where I'm going to want to line my pages up top to bottom. And that's going to be the easiest way to match. This is how I would match. You can get the ruler out, measure down how far, put them both down the same distance. You know, in all reality, they're going to be far enough apart. If they're off just a little bit, you're not going to notice the difference. Ah, shoot. Didn't have it hooked down at all and ripped it back up. All right, let's try that one more time. Okay. Okay, so there is the basic background. That is done, and you might have to hook down a few things. I know I was a little shy with the tape runner in a couple areas, so I'm gonna have to go back and add a little more tape or even a little wet adhesive. Hook some of this down just a little bit better so we don't have any corners sticking up in odd places. Okay, looks like we got the majority of it down. Now comes the fun part. Now we're going to add some ephemera pieces and some stickers. So let's pull our little tray of goodies in here and see what we've got to work with. So I've got my chipboard stickers, my book of stickers. I do have a bunch of ephemera pieces, and I also have some stickers. So let's take a look and see what we want to add to this layout to finish it up. Could potentially add a tag and tuck it under there and have it go outside the border here and then add a little ribbon here. Could even foam dot that corner up so that you can tuck your picture under there still easily. And there's not going to be a lot to do up here. It's mainly going to be down here, and I don't want to cover a lot of it because I really don't want to cover a lot of this pattern paper. I'm probably not going to add anything here unless I just layer up with some of the stuff that's already there. I might take another look at one of those tags. And I do have the calendar. I think I'm going to pass on that. Top 10. That might be kind of cute, even to have there as well, raised up. So we're going to put them both there as an option. And I think we're going to pass on a 4x6. I originally thought maybe I would do a 4x6, but changed my mind on that already. Hang on to that. I don't think we need those. That could work as well. That could work. Quite a few of these could potentially work. We could put some words up here. Got a lot of these bigger chipboard pieces. I don't see using them on this particular layout, but we're gonna get to a point where we do use some of those up. But I was looking to see maybe a chipboard butterfly here on some foam tape. And then life documented. Maybe we could put that up in that corner. Okay, let's get this extra out of the way again. All right, and here's, so we have that camera there. We want to pull another, oh, maybe we want to pull another camera up there. Have them on opposite. And we could put that up on foam. And move the life documented right up there. Or beautiful day. So many options with so many pieces in here. Okay, looks like that's all the options in here that I want to look at. And I'm still looking at this, trying to decide whether or not we want to limit, you know, our photo area here by putting that up there, but I like the look of them kind of on opposite corners like that. Or maybe we can even go to the smaller chipboard piece. I feel like it covers almost the same amount. It does, and it's more the muted black and gray tone than this one is. So we're going to stick that one back. I still like life documented. We're going to go with that one. We've got butterfly here. We've added a little butterfly sentiment right there. Let's take a peek at this border sticker and see. I think we're going to divide that in half. And it is 11 and 5/8. So let's find the center. Right there. We're going to cut that. Boy, this is going to be where you show if anything is slightly off. Now it's going to show. We're going to go over here with this other half. Okay. And again, let's see. We're going to skip all those. Let's look at these tags. Okay, I think we're going to pass on those. If we put that there, I still feel like I want to do something right here. Okay, I'm going to go with this tag. I'm going to ink the edges of that. And I'm going to ink those really heavy because I want this to stand out. Okay, and then while we're here, let's ink this camera. And I'm not inking it nearly as heavily. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink this Life Documented as well. And I'm just going to kind of highlight the edges of that. I'm not going to even try and get in between necessarily. That's going to go right around there. And then we're going to want to add a little piece of ribbon. To that tag. So I'm going to grab that. All right. Grabbed my hole punch at the same time. We'll punch the top of that out. I like to fold my ribbon in half. Feed it through the back. Pull it through. Open that loop up. Grab your two ends and pull them through the loop. And you're going to want to be real gentle so that you don't pull all the way through this paper, which you can easily do. So you want to be real gentle with that. And then we're going to just trim those ends because we definitely don't want them that long. And I think we'll tuck that under here and have it hang over the edge a little bit onto that white. So let's just go ahead and hook that down. And then it may be once we're done, we dab just a little dab of glue back behind that just to help hold that down in place. And then I wanted to pull these butterflies back over here. And these are the chipboard stickers. Sometimes you can rip them up. Yep, and not so easily this time. I was wanting to rip it up with the paper intact so that I could place that down and just do a little preview in case I change my mind. And of course we're gonna stick that butterfly right there. I'm gonna get some foam squares for this camera. And I'm gonna put quite a few on there just because I don't want the camera to sink down in the middle yet. I'm going to pull that one back up. I want to be sure that we can still slide a picture underneath there. So granted, you're going to want to choose a picture that you don't mind this portion of it being covered, because the camera is going to cover a lot of that picture. Now we could have actually gone with a smaller photo frame there, but I think it'll be kind of nice if you can find the right picture to make that work and have that covered right there. Let me see. I actually think this foam square is not in a good spot as well. Okay. So you just want to watch the placement of your foam square. We can take, yeah, see, you can easily slide your photo under there and still get your frame. You know, and if you really wanted to, you could even go with a smaller photo like that and add some ephemera or a scrap piece of paper to that edge right there. So we could actually, if we wanted to, put some patterned paper down as well. So there's a couple options in case the photo idea right there doesn't work out for you. Okay, so let's finish embellishing this page and get this one done. And we'll be done with another installment of the Scrappin Saturday series. I'm really enjoying this series. I've mentioned it before. If you're new to the channel, you haven't heard me say it, but it really has helped to inspire me to scrapbook for sure quite a bit more than I would have been. Life has gotten crazy with too many other things. taking priority that I'm not getting in the scrap room as often as I would like, but this way I am still getting in here. And we're not going to want that L1 down there that low, because we're running into the same issue that we did with the other one. Same with that little half I put on there. We're just going to let that kind of fly free. And move this one up just a tad. That should work. Make sure we can fit pictures underneath that and still fit the 4x6 photo in there. Generally on your 4x6, you're not necessarily going to be worried about covering up much at the top. Looks like it might be crooked. Let's see if we can straighten that out. Okay, let's grab our little tag and see how far under there we can go. You can either trim, you can get the picture under there. I'm gonna just pull that out. And trim it up. Now for sure you can fit it under there. There we go. In fact, that might even be sticking up just a tad. There we go. Once you get your page protector on there, that'll hold that down where it needs to be. All right. And then let's go ahead and glue down this chipboard piece. I actually changed my mind and wanted to kind of spin her off of the matting onto the white. Okay, and then I'm just wondering if we want to add, those match too well, if we want to add these stamps. Goodness. Getting all sorts of caught up there. Okay. And hang on, I want to check something if I have something to cut this with. Okay, I think we're done. Well, thank you for sticking with me for another installment of my Scrappin Saturday series. I hope you enjoyed this layout. There is a little math involved with this one if you want to follow along and do it. You can even put your math skills to more of a test than I did. I kind of tend to wing it, as you well know. But I did use Simple Vintage Life in Bloom. I will link everything below. I've got everything in my website available currently. And if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. That way you'll be notified when there is new content uploaded, and you can follow along every Saturday with the Scrappin Saturday series. And be sure to check out all the other designers. #SatMornMakes, hosted by Jillian Norwood. Thank you again, Jillian, for hosting this. Check out all the other designers and what they're up to this Saturday. Bye for now.